I've got to talk about this because what just happened in Cleveland isn't just another NFL headline. This is the kind of meltdown that can redefine a franchise. The Cleveland Browns, fresh off a humiliating 41-17 loss to the Baltimore Ravens, are now at the center of one of the wildest controversies I've ever seen unfold in real time. And it all revolves around their rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, and his head coach, Kevin Stefanski. Now, let me paint the scene for you. The final whistle blows. The Browns walk off the field looking absolutely defeated. And Stefanski goes into his post-game press conference with the same coach speak he's been serving up for weeks. All the cliches, all the excuses. But while Stefanski was busy spinning another explanation for disaster, Shedeur Sanders was somewhere else entirely. And what he did next sent shockwaves through the entire NFL. About 45 minutes after the game ended, Shedeur fired up Instagram Live, and instead of some vague, frustrated comments, instead of brushing things off like most rookies would, he let it rip. His words cut through every excuse his coach had just made like a missile locked onto a target. "I told y'all this ain't on me. This on them." I was ready. The guys know I was ready, and we lost because I wasn't out there. Point blank. Period. That's it. 20 seconds. Just 20 seconds, and the entire NFL media machine flipped upside down. And let me tell you, this wasn't just a rookie venting after a tough game. This was a direct challenge. This was a fracture in the organization, happening live, in front of the entire world. You don't see that every day. For Browns fans, who've endured decades of quarterback heartbreak, this wasn't just another chapter in the same old story. This felt like a turning point. The reaction? Instant. Within minutes, Twitter was ablaze. Hashtags like Fire Stefanski and Justice for Shedeur shot to the top of the trending list. Browns forums exploded with outrage. Season ticket holders started talking about organizing protests outside the team facility. And local radio lines lit up with fans demanding that Stefanski be fired immediately. And the craziest part? The fan base, usually divided, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, suddenly united behind one cause. Shedeur Sanders needs to start. Inside the locker room, though, things got messy fast. Reports started leaking that offensive players, the guys who've been out there struggling, were mostly backing Shedeur. One veteran reportedly told a beat reporter, "Everybody knows Shedeur's the guy." Watching us get embarrassed while he's holding a clipboard? That's on the coaches, and Shedeur just let the world know it. But not everybody was on board. Some leaders worried about a rookie openly challenging the coach. And defensive players? They tried to stay neutral, but even they admitted the offense is dragging them down. The locker room, once carefully balanced, suddenly looked fractured. And then comes the ownership angle. And this is where it gets explosive. Jimmy Haslam, the Browns owner, was reportedly furious. Not just about the score, not just about the embarrassment, but specifically about Stefanski refusing to put Sanders in the game, while the offense sputtered into oblivion. Sources say Haslam actually cornered Stefanski in his office after the game, demanding answers. One witness even claimed Haslam was yelling loud enough for people in the hallway to hear. His question was simple. Why hasn't Shedeur gotten a chance when nothing else is working? That, right there, is the kind of conversation that gets coaches fired mid-season. Now think about what that means. Stefanski is fighting battles on all fronts. He's losing the fans, he's losing the locker room, and now he might be losing ownership. And in Cleveland? Once the owner flips, it's over. Let's not forget how bad the actual quarterback play has been. Joe Flacco looked like a shell of himself out there, barely completing half his passes, throwing 3 picks, even coughing up the ball with fumbles. Then came Dillon Gabriel, and honestly, it didn't get any better. 2 3-and-outs, a brutal interception straight to a linebacker who didn't even have to move. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson, he was out there putting on a masterclass, carving up the Browns with ease, making it look like a scrimmage. The contrast couldn't have been more painful, and if you were watching the broadcast closely, you saw the tension boiling. Cameras kept cutting to Sanders on the sideline. At first he was clapping, staying engaged. But after Flacco's 3rd interception, you could see the frustration. There was even a moment where Sanders went up to the offensive coordinator like he wanted to talk through the game plan. And Stefanski swooped in and sent him back to the bench. It looked like nothing in the moment, but now, That clip feels like the perfect snapshot of the power struggle going on in Cleveland. Nationally, this thing blew up too. ESPN opened their Monday morning shows with it. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back. Shedeur Sanders just embarrassed his own coach, he said. The Browns' future is Shedeur, and Kevin Stefanski might have just coached his way out of a job. When former Browns legend Bernie Kosar is going on local radio saying, "I've seen every practice. Shedeur gives this team the best chance to win right now. You know the walls are closing in." And then, this is where it gets truly wild. Even Roger Goodell reportedly got involved. Yes, the commissioner of the NFL. Multiple sources say he reached out to the Browns front office, not to talk about rules or officiating, but to ask why Sanders isn't playing. Think about that for a second. The league office stepping in because of one rookie quarterback's marketability, viewership, and impact. That has never happened before. That's how big this has become. On top of all that, Dillon Gabriel, the rookie third rounder, is now said to be looking at a trade request. He feels blindsided, lost in the chaos, and he's ready to find a new home. So, the Browns don't just have one quarterback problem, they might have three. And now we're staring down the next practice, the next game week, with everything hanging by a thread. Does Stefanski double down and keep Shedeur on the bench, risking an all-out mutiny? Or does he cave, put Sanders with the first team, and admit that his entire developmental plan has failed? This isn't just about one game anymore. This is about the future of the Browns. Stefanski's career is on the line. Haslam's ownership legacy is on the line. And for Shedeur Sanders, this is the gamble of a lifetime. Either he forces his way into the starting job and becomes the face of the franchise, or he risks being labeled as the rookie who tried to burn it all down. And honestly, with everything I've seen, with the way the city of Cleveland has rallied around him, with the way even the league itself is circling this storyline, I don't think this is going away anytime soon. This is no longer just a quarterback controversy. This is an organizational crisis, and it's unfolding in front of all of us live. Now picture this with me. Andrew Berry, the Browns GM, pacing in his office, veins popping out of his forehead, probably hurling binders at the wall, muttering to himself like a man who just realized he bet the house on a losing hand. Meanwhile, Jerry Jones? He's sitting back somewhere in Texas, smiling like a cat who already caught the mouse, polishing his oversized checkbook like it's a trophy. If that doesn't feel like a Netflix drama waiting to happen, I don't know what does. And this is where it gets crazy. Because the Browns, the team that drafted Shedeur Sanders, the team that hyped him up like he was the future, have barely even used him. They treated this kid like a collector's item. You know, like buying a Ferrari only to park it in the garage and take it out once a month just to idle it in the driveway. That's not quarterback development. That's quarterback witness protection. Fans see it. I see it, you see it. Shedeur's been standing on that sideline with a clipboard in his hands like he's the world's most talented intern. And then suddenly, boom, Dallas starts circling. And in that instant, Shedeur goes from forgotten rookie to the most valuable man in Cleveland. Isn't that wild? But here's the thing. This isn't just about losing a player. If Jerry Jones actually pulls this off, it's about Cleveland being exposed. Exposed for wasting talent. Exposed for not knowing what to do with a quarterback who's got the Sanders name, the pedigree, the charisma. Fans have been screaming it from the cheap seats for years. And if Dallas swoops in and turns Shedeur into the next primetime star, it's confirmation that the Browns never had a clue. And let's not sugarcoat it. This is the Cowboys we're talking about. America's most dramatic franchise. They don't just chase players. They chase headlines, TV contracts, jersey sales, chaos. Jerry Jones doesn't just smell opportunity, he bathes in it. Put a Sanders in a Cowboys uniform? That's not football. That's a cultural event. That's ESPN losing their minds. That's Netflix spin-offs. That's AT&T Stadium turning into Hollywood South. Meanwhile, poor Andrew Berry is losing it. His face looks like somebody just told him his Netflix password got stolen by his ex. He's in meltdown mode, pacing hallways, muttering about wasted potential, probably firing off passive-aggressive emails to the football gods. Because deep down, he knows the truth. This isn't just about losing Shedeur Sanders. This is about the Browns becoming a national punchline. Again, think about the optics. Shedeur in Dallas, that silver star on his helmet, the Sanders name booming through the speakers on Sunday Night Football. While in Cleveland, fans are stuck wondering why their front office treated him like a science experiment instead of a quarterback. It would be humiliating, poetic, and honestly, exactly the kind of nightmare that only the Browns could write for themselves. And here's the cruelest part. Shedeur doesn't even have to do anything. He doesn't have to beg for snaps. He doesn't have to torch anyone on social media. He doesn't even have to throw a pass. All he has to do is exist while Dallas stirs the pot and Cleveland combusts. He's the calm in the middle of the storm, while Barry is losing his mind in the eye of it. Now let me be real with you. At some point, Shedeur has to choose himself. Because the Browns, they've given zero proof they know how to handle him. This is the same franchise that has turned mishandling quarterbacks into an Olympic sport. They've ruined so many careers, it might as well be part of their logo. And Shedeur? He's next in line, unless he finally draws the line and says, enough. And if he does? If Shedeur decides to break free, and Dallas, or any other team, decides to treat him like the star he is, then Cleveland will have no one to blame but themselves. They'll be left sitting in the wreckage, clutching excuses, while the rest of the league points and laughs. So yeah, this isn't just a rumor. This is a mirror. A mirror showing Cleveland everything they don't want to admit. And if that reflection ends up walking into AT&T Stadium wearing a star on his helmet, that's not just a trade. That's legacy. That's history. That's Shedeur Sanders turning the Browns' biggest mistake into the Cowboys' next empire. And trust me, if that day comes, Cleveland won't need a scoreboard to remind them. The loss will be written all over their faces.